Sox Nation is out of their minds if they think they're going to the playoffs.
Well,
that's another pizza for anybody who thinks the Red Sox are going to the playoffs.
More pizza.
You realize that we don't have to give you pizzas. We're just taking pizzas.
I don't care. I'm so convinced that you're wrong. I don't care. I
want to get a job at David's company. Whatever he's making for a living, he can throw pizzas around like this.
Weiss Industries. Yeah.
They're like $40 a pie these days. Are you sure?
Whatever. It's worth it just to know that you guys are so goddamn wrong.
Just in Arizona for some Cactus League ball, and I saw two teams that are in this division. I saw the Cincinnati Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers, and I would say the Cincinnati Reds are the better team, which is not what I expected. The Brewers didn't look good. You want to talk about teams that have gotten older and slower, and the pitching was a little suspect. Mets are the one that I don't think are going to make it. All right.
Parker warmed up out in the bullpen. Some depth to this one. Jacob Young. He had it.
He got it.
He got it on the fly.
He caught it.
The umpires have already called him out. The hitter, that is. And the crowd just saw it.
His foot. Hacky sack.
Yeah.
Oh, the Mets are going 162-0.
It's really the.
There's any doubt in my mind, the last time that the Marlins and the Mets have gotten together, the Marlins have flat out been the better baseball team. They have won in every single game more, and they are a better team. And Mets fans can disagree, but the proof has been in the pudding as Edwards knocks a base hit with 2 outs into right center. They have flat out wanted it more, and they are a better team. And I know that's a tough pill to swallow when you have a $400 million payroll.
And the Mets, a lack of attention to detail, which has cropped up repeatedly during this slow motion backwards march over the last 3.5 months, comes up to bite them again.
I mean, you might take your whole travel ball squad off the field if something like that happened. Here's a team that is fighting to get to October. What are you going to do in October with an inning like that?
And it's not the first time, too. They've made a lot of mental errors over the past, 9-10 games down the stretch.
The Mets are the one that I don't think are going to make it. All right. What I have.
Welcome to our Major League Baseball playoff preview. Taking a look at all the teams vying for the World Series, Christian Bladt is joined by Solomon himself, comedian David Weiss, David Brody, and author Devin Gordon. So break out your peanuts and Cracker Jacks, crack open an old style, and get ready for a ceremonial first pitch from Christian Bladt.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Farad Muhammad, and of course the dulcet tones welcoming all of you to our own Kiner's Corner with, I guess, the opposite of a happy recap. But here we are. Major League Baseball a few years ago had this great idea to have everybody start their final game of the season at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. And you get the kind of drama that we have today. So some would say it's bad news. Others are saying it's inevitable news. With us, as always, is David Brody. Great to see you, sir. America's favorite Brooklyn boy. I wanted to bring David Weiss on camera, but I don't know what's going on with his camera. I think he's coming to us in boomer vision. I'm not quite sure what that is. But,
What's up, America?
As long as we can see you. And of course, our friend Devin Gordon. Devin, we always appreciate you taking some time to join us, good, bad, and ugly. And this is two of those. Devin, of course, the author of So Many Ways to Lose, the amazing true story of the New York Mets, the best, worst team in baseball. Devin, every time I talk to you, I'm like, oh, man, You're ready for another new chapter.
Yeah.
You do a new book on this season, right?
Yeah, it's fine. The book came out in 2021, and every season since, we've had a version of this conversation where the season that just transpired could have been a new chapter in the book. I mean, whether it was the thumbs down season, right?
The season where they gave away Pete Crow Armstrong. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. Related to the thumbs down.
Then the double choke the next season when we actually did go to the playoffs, but we choked away twice.
Yeah.
And then the Metsy season in the other direction, right, of 2024, right, one of the rare bananas.
Yeah. That was house money. That would have been an uplifting chapter that you could have included.
Yeah, we won the way only the Mets can win, and I look at this season as the companion volume to last season, in which all of the good breaks that we got last year, we got none of this year, and down was up was back to down again, and here we are.
And we'll talk about it, and it's interesting as we survey the entire field, which we will do. We'll go through and take a look at everything. If last year's Mets were airdropped into this year's playoffs, that would be amazing. And but we need to go back to the beginning, Devin. I don't usually want to use someone's words against them, but in the early season, you did write a piece that we featured. Who am I if the Mets are good? Well, you don't have to worry about that, do you?
Not a concern. I mean, there a reasonable case can be made, and I think every Mets fan is in their own small way trying to figure out right now, what is my role in this? What karmic contribution to this collapse did I make? And that's mine. Right there. It's right there in the New York Times. It was, I knew it as I was writing it. It's not like I was unaware of what I was putting out in the world. I even mentioned it. Yeah. And, I came on here and I can't remember. It's so interesting that you're going to spin this back on us, because one exercise, like an exercise in memory. Do I actually remember, and can I be honest about what I predicted? So I think I thought the Mets were going to sneak in, but I definitely thought that this was going to be this kind of year. Like, I thought we'd get in still. Yeah. But this year kind of did go how I kind of thought it might.
Right. And, in the montage of pain that I put together in the beginning, I did have to go back. And there were many times during the season where I was like, oh, that'll be a fun clip to play back, because they were 21 games over 500 with the best record in baseball. But I did say this.
The Mets are the one that I don't think are going to make it.
All right.
But I have.
Yeah. Yeah. But I thought that it was because the Braves were going, and if ever there's a year to squander, it's a year where the Braves are terrible, because that may not happen again in any of our lifetimes. I think that a lot of Mets fans and people in general, people asking me, because I'm a Mets fan, before this happened, they're like, well, what's worse, 2007 or this? And by a long shot, 2007, because this we saw coming. The wheels were so far off the tracks that the train had been just skidding downhill, sparks flying everywhere. But it is an interesting starting point, and I'll ask you first, Mr. Brody. It all feels bad, but it all feels familiar. Is this a disaster when you're a great team, as opposed to when you're a great team and it all just falls apart in the last couple weeks? Whereas this was like, oh, yeah, they probably should have had some pitching on this team. That might have helped, Brody.
Mm-hmm. I think back to the worst team money could buy, the 1990, was it 93?
93, the Jeff Torborg team, yeah.
The Torborg team, where they had pitching, they had a team, and they were horrible, right? They were bottom of the barrel, disgraceful. This team had all the talent in the world, the highest payroll in the history of the sport, basically, right? And they started off like, okay, they're living up to this. This is great. we took the NLCS team and we added Juan Soto. This is great. And then the pitching started getting injured and disappearing and shrinking. And there were no reinforcements from the minors ready. And then at the trade deadline, they did. So from June on, we were all screaming, well, we need starting pitching because they're all falling apart. You know, Canning was doing well and he was out, and Minaya never regained his strength. And the minute that Pete threw that ball to Senga at first base, for me, that was the end of the season.
Which, by the way, was the day after the David Peterson complete game. So that is the moment. That is the that is the line in the sand. Yeah. It was a great season up until whatever that is, June 20th or whatever the exact date it was. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, what's happening? And Senga was never right. I mean, to the extent that they didn't even bring him back up for this last week. Mr. Weiss, you and I are on a text chain with a mutual friend of ours, Cliff Schoenberg, and there is a prevailing theme in that thread. There is one person that you tend to like to blame everything on. Would you like to share that with our audience and our guests?
Jeff McNeil sucks.
There would just be so many at bats, and it was just the text would just say McNeil sucks. You know, then he'd hit a home run, and it was still like, yeah, okay, but McNeil sucks. So Weiss, how much blame do you put on Jeff McNeil? What percentage?
Oh, okay, a lot. I was watching, and his numbers for September were just abysmal.
And 4 of his last 45.
Right. And yet he's in the lineup every day, and Luis Angel Acuna is sitting, and he's better defender and has speed and energy, and which is what this team needed, was energy. And he's sitting. McNeil sucks.
Sure. And I think that the flip side of this, of course, is just a tremendous job by Terry Francona and the Reds to, down the stretch, who before today, in the last 2 weeks, had gone 7-0 against the Cubs and the Brewers. So two premier playoff teams. By the way, the Mets played playoff teams fairly well, the Reds and the Padres, but not as well as the Reds. And it came down to that tiebreaker. And it was the most Metsy way to miss the playoffs, where the Reds lost. So that part of the equation actually happened. If the Reds won, you'd be like, okay, well, then wouldn't have mattered what we'd done today. And that was not the case. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't have my heart in it. I was at LA Comic-Con with my son. I was actually still walking to my car an hour ago, so made it just in time for this. I was keeping an eye on it, and I did occasionally put the game on so I could watch Pete Alonso hit a weak fly ball, before the warning track. But Devin, there's so many things to point at, and there are so many of those moments like I showed in the opening, but there's also 2 7-game losing streaks, an 8-game losing streak. And, so there isn't really one moment, but it hurts when you're like, oh, one moment, one change in one game.
Yeah.
That's actually all it would have taken. Winning the last game in Cincinnati would have counted as 2,
Yep.
So had it been distributed differently that way. So where do you start pointing fingers, Devin?
Well, I mean, can I start with the 2 things that are going to annoy me the most that we're going to have to hear that will get me to answer that question? Because I feel like already, well, the big thing is the $350 million payroll. And they added all this talent and the Juan Soto thing. And I'm already hearing it in the headlines, $350 million, whatever the payroll is. And I'm like, yeah, those guys who got paid a lot, they were awesome.
Yeah.
They all played really, really well. Soto, I mean, if anybody is going to complain about Soto, which is the next point, is there's ever going to be any fingers pointed at Juan Soto, the guy, oh my gosh, you're just not paying attention. Like, career best in home runs. And he's actually playing in a major league ballpark this year. 100 runs, 100 RBI, 100 walks. And here's a trivia question. Who is the National League leader in stolen bases in 2025? Who led the National League in stolen bases in 2025?
I feel
Juan
like,
Soto.
I just feel like that has to be the answer. Yeah.
Where the hell did that come from? The guy signs a $750 million deal and then immediately goes out and adds a skill that no one on earth ever imagined he could have. So if anyone says it's about the payroll or about Soto, that's idiotic. Where am I pointing the finger? Look, I hate to point a finger. I'd say starting pitching, which is a broader question. But if we have to point a finger at a person, a human being, I think we should be starting with Golden Boy David Stearns. And I'm glad that the press is going to get to start with him tomorrow morning. You know, right before we went on here in my inbox, I got the announcement that David Stearns will be holding his annual end of season press conference tomorrow at Citi Field. I'm very, very interested to hear how that goes. I'm very interested to hear what he says when he's asked about Carlos Mendoza's job security, the rest of the coaching staff's job security. But to me, the culprit is simple. We went in with a stacked compete for the World Series payroll that somehow shopped in the cheap section of Walmart for the starting rotation. That's what went wrong.
Well, they did.
Starting rotation that had to go perfectly again the year after everything went perfectly. And if there's one thing we all know about sports, it's that things never go perfectly 2 years in a row.
No.
So the starting pitching, even the mental errors, the bullpen, everything. I mean, I could give you this. After 3 months of that, imagine how maddening it is for every team to be going to the bullpen in the fourth inning. How hard is that for the mental makeup of your bullpen, of your lineup, of your fielders? It's exhausting. And those starting pitchers don't strike anyone out. So we have more balls in play to field with our not particularly great fielders. It all comes back to the starting pitching. And who built this rotation? Who built the rotation?
Yeah.
And by the way, we almost got our asses saved, and then I will end this filibuster. We almost got our asses saved by a miracle that baseball has not seen before, probably in the history of the sport, which is that a starting pitcher came out of nowhere. And every single start he took in the last 6 weeks of the season, we had our season in the line. Every single start, our season was the line with Nolan McLean on the mound. And every single time he came through. And we still blew it. And by the way, Golden Boy David Stearns did not draft Nolan McLean. He did not draft Brandon Brody. He didn't draft Jonah Tom. That was the guy we all hate, Billy Epler. Remember Billy Epler? He drafted all those guys. This is David Stearns' mess. And I think that he is an excellent GM. So I want to be very, very clear about that because I can find some successes on this team, but I have to look a lot harder than I did last year.
Sure.
It's starting pitching, and it's the rotation that he built. And the sad thing about the season is that we got tricked just long enough into believing we were wrong, and it was too late to fix it.
Yeah,
and that's where we are. That's where we are.
Yeah. Well said. And
Thank
there
you.
were multiple times where I allowed
yield.
myself to be there was a lot of times where I allowed myself to be tricked. There were a lot of times where I was like, oh yeah, this is just not happening. And then they'd play well against the Padres or the Cubs. I mean, and the Cubs was, only the middle of last week. And it's like, oh, they had 2 good games against the Cubs. Oh, well, look at that. But again, the Reds, who almost got swept by the Pirates. And if they had, it might be a different conversation, but
They're good.
They have an amazing starting pitcher who, when Hunter Green took the mound over his last start, he looked okay, but he was going up against Paul Skeens, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a great pitcher.
All you have to do to get into the playoffs is put Terry Francona in his easy chair, on the front step of a dugout, and you're a wild card. At minimum, you're a wild card. And that was the thing that was kind of worrying me all along is this knowledge. That's all it takes to get a wild card in baseball now is just put Tito in a chair up there on the front of the dugout.
Well, I want to talk to the Davids, and something that you referenced. Andy Martino said this. This was this morning, literally this morning, The Mets have absolutely no plans to fire Carlos Mendoza off this collapse, as they shouldn't, because then it gets
I agree.
We'll write something this evening. I think that I know, Mr. Weiss, you're particularly critical of bullpen decisions, but the bullpen that he had to work with was a fraction of what I think he was presented with. Let's not forget the injury to AJ Minter, which we don't know what that would have been, but that was supposed to be a very important part of it. But Weiss, what do you think about Mendoza?
I'd fire him in the morning, not tonight.
Would you fire him before he got on the tarmac in Miami and tell him, here's an American Airlines coach ticket back to New York?
I'd think about it.
Okay.
I mean, my big problem with Mendoza is that he couldn't get these guys to, number one, play like they could, and number two, get them above that, get the most out of his players. And he was just standing there in the dugout, kind of stoic and letting it happen. And that was his pose since the All-Star break.
By the way, to Devin's point, somebody should have gotten him an easy chair.
Maybe that would have made the difference. But he just wasn't aggressive enough and he wasn't holding players accountable. It's one thing DFA Jose Siri. It's another thing to sit Jeff fucking McNeil.
Mr. Brody, you are the only one of us currently residing in the New York market. So I want to get your personal perspective, but also the perspective that surrounds you in, a 50-mile radius as well.
I would say a decent amount of people I know want everybody fired because that's the gut reaction to fire everybody. I have been a Carlos Mendoza apologist for most of the season. I think he's done what he can with the hand he was dealt with the bullpen. I think one of the problems with the management of the bullpen was Stearns. As soon as a guy pitched well, if he pitched 2 or 3 innings well, like Davinsky, every time Davinsky pitched well, they sent him down. We got to get a fresh arm. Right? They were so obsessed with fresh arms. Every time Herget pitched well, oh, here's your reward. You're going back. And they got stuck with guys like Stanek, who they couldn't send down. And that brings me to my next point. Today was a must-win game.
Yeah.
He did a great job pulling Minaya and bringing in Brazaban. I'm not taking any chances. How do you let Ryan Stanek anywhere near the field in a must-win 162 game? The guy's got an ERA over 8 in the past month and a half. He had one good inning 2 weeks ago. We all remember it because he got all excited and he roared after the game. He's been terrible. So he said, I don't want to bring Peterson in. There were too many righties. Peterson is a major league pitcher. If he can't get guys out, he shouldn't be on the roster. And then, you bring up this guy, Dylan Ross, who throws 100 miles an hour. For what? You didn't bring him in at all. Okay, you don't want to bring him in 162. Maybe you should have brought him in yesterday when you had a lead. I don't know. Maybe Senga would have been worth a couple of innings, or 1 inning out of the bullpen. Maybe, with his ghost fork, he gets something done. I trust him more than Stanek. So Mendoza, in my opinion, I mean, look, you brought in Rogers. That's a good move. Rogers didn't shut the door. He normally does. My problem was today with Stanek. And if you fired Mendoza today, I would be thinking about Stanek, and I wouldn't be upset. If today didn't happen, I would say Mendoza's done a good job of motivating players. He ripped in a Minaya in the dugout. I love that. The Hispanic players like him. The young players like him. I think he's a good fit for the team. I think Stearns did him wrong. I think injuries did him wrong. I will say, though, what's the guy's name we traded to the Giants? He was an outfielder, not JD Martinez.
Drew Gilbert.
Yeah. No. 3 years ago. JD. We got him from the Astros.
The other, JD Davis. Yes.
JD
He's out
Davis.
of baseball now, isn't he?
Yeah. But 3 years ago, when our manager was Buck Showalter, there was an unusual play that I never heard of, the announcers never heard of, and JD knew to run to second. He knew what to do, and they asked him after the game, "How did you know what to do? It's such an obscure rule." And he said, "Buck Showalter in spring training made sure we knew every possible scenario, every rule, even if it was 1 in a billion." And that's not what happened this year when guys don't cover third on a stolen base, when the pitcher Soto is letting a guy go from first to second, and nobody points it out that he's running. And then the same guy goes from second to third. Nobody points it out. And Mauricio doesn't cover. There was just so many stupid plays, guys thrown to the wrong base, guys not knowing what was going on, how many outs. It just wasn't crisp. And say all you want about Buck Showalter, the players always knew what to do and when to do it. And this year was a fundamental embarrassment with a lot of payroll. And look, Pete doesn't have to field a ground ball half the time. I get it. How many times did pitchers not go to first base to cover the base in the past? Brazoban did it twice. Clay Holmes did it. Clay Holmes didn't cover home. He let Pete Crow Armstrong go from second and scored on a wild pitch because he stood there like an idiot. Somebody's got to take the fall for that. So again, I like Carlos Mendoza, but there's got to be some fixing in the offseason. As far as Jeff McNeil, I could just comment on Jeff McNeil.
Please.
Jeff McNeil is a great super sub. And to me, he's a classic number 2 hitter in a world that no longer has classic number 2 hitters. He's the Wally Backman, right? He's the guy who's supposed to hit left-handed, get the runner over, bunt occasionally, slap hitter. He can't be hitting 5th, 6th, and 7th. So he's just not the right ball player for this team if he's not going to hit 2nd or 9th. So I'm fine if they get rid of him, but he's got a lot of money left, and I think 3 years on his contract. So we'll see what happens.
What were you holding up, Mr. Weiss? I wanted to put you full screen for our audience. Oh, it's backwards.
McNeil sucks.
He's on TikTok.
McNeil can't read this because he's.
Can I mount the Mendoza defense?
Yes, please do.
Because I'm pretty full throated in favor of Mendoza. And I was actually excited to see that. And stipulating a lot of what's been said about the decision making this year, it just felt like a lot of backfires. I do feel like, again, that's sort of like the karmic boomerang from last year where everything went great and all of his gut instincts looked amazing. And, that was bound to even out a little bit. And, a lot of the decision making about who to pitch when, I always feel like is very, very tough nowadays to really hold on the manager, because I never really have much of an idea how much of that really is up to the manager, how much of that has been pre-scripted. I would bet today a lot of those decisions about who to go to when were decided well in advance of the game, which pitchers to use, which pitchers weren't. And stuff like that makes it really tough. And then there's also the factor of how much do you really expect a manager to improve or crispen the quality of the play of these major leaguers who are supposed to be doing shit right by the time they get there, right? How much of that is actually on the manager? And these are things I feel like we can never know. And so, over the years, as I watch baseball, I sort of put that stuff into a certain percentage of what I think of a manager. And it's really hard to know. I always feel like that stuff is really variable. And more, the way I evaluate a manager is by what I don't hear and what I don't see. And here's what I don't see with Carlos Mendoza. I never see a player getting in his face or disrespecting him. I never see any blind leaks or quotes about him as a manager or his leadership or the kind of clubhouse that he runs. Never.
Let me just jump in with that. If you heard Logan Webb last week, it was very clear that he's saying, you need to fire our manager because we will win more.
Yeah, players have a way to do that stuff. And okay, here's another thing that we didn't see our team give up. We didn't see them turn on each other, even though, again, 3 months of this crap.
Yeah.
Right? 3 months of this crap. And, of the pitcher having to come out in the 4th inning, the 5th inning, that wears on a team. They never turned on each other. In fact, they seem to get along as well as ever, seem to really like each other. And you also, let's contrast this. Another thing that you don't see, you don't see him saying dumb shit in the media like the guy across town. Right? And we underestimate this as a Mets manager and as a manager in the city. The ability to not say something stupid.
Yeah.
The ability to not create a distraction for your team is a very important part of being a manager. And Carlos Mendoza is really good at all of these things. He checks all of those boxes, all of the things that should make me worried about a manager. It's the things I'm not seeing that make me reassured about the job that he's doing. The things I can see, like what he's doing on the field, he didn't have a great year. I didn't like a lot of the stuff that he did this year. Again, it's just so hard to know, like how much of this is this way or that way. It worked this way, it didn't work that way. I think most of the manager's job, I actually put that stuff honestly about 10 or 20%. I might underrate the importance of a game manager.
Yeah.
Because the other side I feel like is so important. But I'm glad to see him back. I feel like the players want him back. I don't think the guys wanted Buck back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I think that's true.
I think that matters.
One thing about that you had said, I would say this on the aforementioned text thread that I'm on with Weiss and our friend Cliff, is that all the times that you're like, why is this guy coming out now? And then this guy coming in, it's usually like, well, I think that the nerds are looking at stats and like, this guy is going to be good here, instead of like, okay, but you don't know how he's going to look when he comes in. And a lot of times it's bad. The X factor that I don't think anybody would have seen. I saw the acquisition of Ryan Helsley and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's a closer. And yes, he had lost his
people out.
Yeah, he'd lost his closer's job, but gotten it back. And then he, just the absolute dumpster fire that was that guy. I was surprised to see him today. He did fine today, but he was so marginalized, and it clearly like all got into his head. But that's the sort of thing that I think you can't expect. And for fans of any of the 12 teams that are actually in the playoffs, don't worry, we're going to get to them in a minute. But what I want to have one more Mets thought of what we think should happen. And I think that they need to sign Pete. He is a face of the franchise player. He has all those stats, and my daughter loves him because he's the polar bear. So it's going to really mess everything up. If he's if he's on the Blue Jays next year, she's going to have what is their I think Ace is their the Blue Jay is, I think his name is Ace, their mascot. So I think that is very important. And yes, he can be a streaky hitter, but he's an amazing hitter. And when you look at his body of work as a whole, Mr. Weiss, there is no one like, oh, this has to happen. But apart from Pete, is there something that you can point at, and let's just say, McNeil's off the table, because I know that that's where you're going to go.
No, I'm serious now. To Devin's point about Mendoza, I don't think winning the press conference is something that you take into account when you're managing to get a baseball team to win. And
no, just don't lose it. Don't lose it.
I don't think it matters. Look at Billy Martin. He won.
But that's I feel like it's a very different era.
I'm just saying that.
Brody, you live in New York still. Are there a lot of Yankee fans who are like, Aaron Boone's doing a great job?
Oh my God, they hate him.
They hate him.
Hate him.
Hate him.
They hate him.
Hate him.
It's like, I get it. I think that the value of a manager is really, really, really tough to see. And that's why my criteria is to try to,
I disagree with that.
Those aren't there. But before we go to the looking ahead, maybe I can help with this and level set a little bit, just because I think the payroll stuff is interesting, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
We don't really have a lot of open jobs, right? You have Starling Marte coming off the books. That's $20 million. You have Winker coming off the books. That's $8 million. There's some relievers coming off the books, right? Obviously, Mullins is gone. So there's about $35 million coming off the books, and most of the, let's call it half the bullpen. Other than that, center field is open. Second base is kind of a question mark.
Sure.
Third base is and DH is very crowded. We're paying for Sean Manaea, Kodai Senga, no matter what, David Peterson, no matter what, and we have the kids, right? So when we're thinking about bringing back Pete and bringing back Diaz, we don't really have a lot of other shopping to do, and we have money coming off the payroll this year, right? So I'm going to turn it over from there. I don't know if that affects what you guys think of how the Mets should play this out.
So Weiss, looking at that stuff, what are your thoughts, Mr. Weiss? Finish your thought, please.
Well, McNeil has to go.
Okay.
He's taking up a roster spot for Acuna, and Acuna is going to contribute more to the team over 162. Unless McNeil is hitting about 350 and his OPS is about 800, he's killing us. I mean, I don't care about versatility. He can be a mediocre hitter.
We got plenty
in
of
any
versatility.
position.
Beatty can take his lefty at bats. Done.
Right.
Okay, but nobody throws their helmet after a bat at bat like he does. So
The only hard thing here, I agree with you for what it's worth. The only hard thing is getting rid of him because he's on contract.
who wants it? Yeah.
I DFA him.
Oh wow,
Use the money.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
Cohen has the money. Eat it.
It's
You wanna
$60 million.
win? It's going to cost you X. Spend it or don't spend it. But
They can eat part of his
positive,
contract, David. They're not going to eat
aggressive
$60 million.
Right. So you'll
He
find
has
somebody. You could find somebody who wants him, but not for quite as much money, and
Probably,
take some
Right.
of it. Yeah.
Or we take someone
Addition by
else's problem back.
subtraction.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Or we take someone else's problem back.
That's great point. All right, but I want to move on to Brody, but I also want to let you finish your thought, Weiss.
Oh, okay. Well, I would get rid of Vientos as well. Didn't hit as well as Beatty and doesn't really field well. So for 26, I'd have Mauricio at third, Acuna at second, and Beatty can DH until he proves.
I think Beatty has the better defense.
Yeah.
I think, by the way, obviously,
Beatty's third baseman.
yeah, trading Vientos last offseason apparently would have been the thing to do, but I didn't feel like they shouldn't have kept him. It's just more in hindsight. So as we look at all this, Mr. Brody, any thoughts for what you see, and anything that has been said or hasn't been said? That's fine.
Yeah, just to go back to Mendoza again, not knowing who makes the lineup and who predetermines the bullpen moves. Right on Friday night, the analytics said that Mullins had a great history against Sandy Alcantara. Couple of home runs, high batting average. This Mullins didn't have it. 3 years ago, Mullins had it. So what are you looking at? This guy's hitting 140. I don't care what he did years ago against Sandy Alcantara before the Tommy John surgery. He shouldn't be anywhere near the field. You should have DFA'd him and had Taylor and Nimmo as your center fielders. Why they didn't move Nimmo to center midway through the season when they had no center fielder is beyond me. So the fact that Mullins is an average center fielder, I know Taylor was injured. I get it. But Taylor was back. Taylor had a big game on Thursday or Wednesday, whatever the game was before Friday. And you reward him by benching him for Mullins.
Yeah.
So whoever made that decision loses a big point for me. If it's Mendoza, who thought that was a great idea, F you. If it's Stearns,
that's a
he's
front
gotta
office.
go.
That's
So-
a front office decision, man.
And when Vientos continues to prove right now, not when he was hot a month ago, that he can't lay off the curveball because he's swinging too early, he shouldn't be in the lineup.
Yeah.
Right? Mauricio is only on the team. They announced this yesterday. I was fascinated by it. I didn't know this. If they sent Mauricio down, he lost his one last ability to be sent down, so he wouldn't have one next year. So they let him ride the bench specifically so you'd have an option available next year. Okay, but then when you have a blowout game, there was a blowout game, I don't know, within a week ago, they were up like 8-2, whatever it was. He should have been in the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Getting at bats. As soon as you have a blowout game, like you put in Helsley to get innings pitched, Mauricio should have been in the game. And I'm screaming, why isn't Mauricio in the game? Get the kid some at-bats so he's not flailing at off-speed pitches when you need him to play because Beatty's injured. So there were major mistakes made by whoever makes those decisions in not preparing your bench players for at-bats. And look, Mullins was a trade deadline guy. Maybe you don't want to embarrass Stearns by not playing him, or maybe Stearns doesn't want to be embarrassed. Mullins, once a week and a half ago, came around and Taylor was back. He's off the team.
Yeah.
I don't care. He's left-handed. Taylor could hit 0 and he wins ball games in center field, right? Old school, strong up the middle. I don't care if he hits or not. So that's my Mendoza reality. Now, as far as what Devin said about the roster, absolutely. We need to set. Now, look, we need a center fielder, but what is Jet Williams going to do? Is Jet Williams the center fielder? Is Jet Williams the second baseman? Is Carson Bench ready by midseason to play the outfield? In which case, does he play center field or does he play left field and Nimmo goes back to center? So they've got a lot of pieces that don't fit perfectly. They don't have a fantastic option in center field unless it's Jet Williams, Ronnie Mauricio, or Acuna, like one of these guys. But I mean, Taylor is indispensable. So at least defensively. So you don't have a lot of options. I think if Vientos hits, that's great. But here's what Mark Vientos did. By Mark Vientos sucking this year, he ensures that Pete Alonso is your first baseman next year. Because all this talk about we can just move Vientos to first base, right?
It's very possible.
Vientos, 27 home runs, 80 RBIs. He could play first. He can't play first defensively, and he can't hit that enough that you can trust him on day one. So Pete's your first baseman, $40 million a year. It's not my money. I don't give a damn because you've got a cheap catcher. You've got a cheap second baseman. You've got a cheap third baseman. You've got a cheap center fielder, most likely. Half your team is homegrown. So fuck it. Pardon my French. Pay Pete.
Well, again, this is where we started. I think it's an interesting question. How are Mets fans going to react to the response to this team being, let's run it back? Because that's basically what this team is going to be next year, right? I mean, you just went through it. What are the holes? Who are the different faces? Let's forget about the bullpen. That doesn't count because, in fact, some of those guys, welcome back, AJ Minter. Welcome back, Brooks Raley. They're back. We've got them. Oh, and Drew Smith. Remember Drew Smith? He'll be back.
Yeah.
But other than that, look around the field.
Yeah.
Center field, like you said, is probably going to be another Tyrone Taylor stopgap Jose Siri type because they don't want to block it too far for her. Let's assume neither Jet nor Benj is ready on opening day. Let's just assume that because I don't think they want that to be the case for a team that has World Series aspirations. They're not going to sign somebody for multi-years to block those guys. They're going to sign someone who's with a really good glove, just like they have the last couple years. Second base, McNeil is going to have to be dealt with somehow. Acuna's there, right? Beatty can play games there. It's not like there's going to be a solution that comes from off the team in all likelihood is what I'm saying. And, Diaz being one of the big pieces of the puzzle. Look, there aren't that many teams in Major League Baseball who can afford a top price closer and need a top price closer, right? It's not a long list. So,
I was going to say the Dodgers absolutely could and should.
Could. But, there's others.
Yeah, there are others.
It's I think those guys are probably back if we want them. And I think what's an interesting question for Mets fans is, are we okay with looking at this team that just kind of ripped our guts out and saying, yeah, I'm good going into next season with this team because this is probably the team. And the people who are going to come in are not going to be difference makers. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a center fielder. You're like, whoa, this guy? Or a second baseman. You're going to be like, whoa, this guy? The closer is probably going to be Diaz. And if it's not, it's going to be somebody worse. Right? So
can I weigh in on that?
Yeah,
please.
Sure.
Okay. I disagree with the idea that everybody is going to be the same and the team will be the same.
Oh, no. It'll be the same names. Just the same names. I think
but
they'll
I'm
be very
saying
different
that
players.
The same names have not worked out. And this team did not have the intensity, the focus, and the dynamism of last year's team. They didn't have any, what was it, 0 for every ninth inning that they were behind?
8th.
Okay, well, whatever it was. I mean, last year,
even worse.
We don't know that was different. Did Jose Iglesias play that big a part?
Maybe
No,
like
but
math.
he
It
had
just feels
the
like math.
yeah, but Iglesias had the best.
I heard that stat, but I don't feel like our team ever quit. You know what I mean?
But Iglesias had the hottest single of anyone on the team. I do want to move on, but one last thing we have to talk about is, obviously you want to look at free agent starting pitching, and it is not a doozy of a year. Dylan Cease, Framber Valdez, Zach Gallen, who the Diamondbacks decided to hold back and not start in a must-win game against the Dodgers, and that's why they were able to clinch. Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns. There are other names, but that's the top
Woodruff
tier.
is hurt again, by the way.
Okay.
Woodruff
So
is hurt
I
again.
actually didn't realize that. But this is just a quick search of names. There are others like Savali, Merrill Kelly, Jose Quintana. Who knew that if we had him back this year, it could have.
Hey, can I ask a question? Can I
Please.
ask a spicy question about the future of you guys? Because I'm actually, this I think is really an interesting measuring stick of where Mets fans are.
Sure.
We could have had Joe Ryan at the break, or an equivalent top flight workhorse starter.
Yeah.
If we gave up Jet, or if we gave up Carson Bench. That is a thing that could have happened. That is a thing that could still happen. It is on the table. Do you want to do that?
I would do it.
Do you want to give up one of those kids and trade them for a serious starter? Because that can happen. That is doable if they want to do it.
Pull the trigger right now.
Yeah, well, I see Brody.
Do you want to hear the name first, or are you just ready to do it?
Yeah. Oh no, I thought Ryan was the name.
I don't have a name. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
But if it's Joe Ryan, is that good enough for you?
In hindsight, yes. In hindsight, whatever the asking price for Alcantara was that was too high, it would have probably worked out despite his bad first half. But I know, Brody, you like to hold on to the kids. You were I got multiple messages about Drew Gilbert from you. That's why I couldn't believe that that's who you were trying to remember the name of. And it turned out that's not who it was. But I think that, for every Pete Crow Armstrong that you give away, there are probably 4 examples of guys that they gave away who, never really amounted to as much. But I get being gun shy, but they definitely look. They have a surplus amount of infielders at the moment that have played this year, and you could pair that up and you could make some good deals. But we're not going to be the ones to do it, so it'll be interesting to watch. And we appreciate everybody who watched us vent as we take a look up at teams who are going to be playing on Tuesday and beyond. And I had already decided I didn't want to spend money to see the Mets play here at Dodger Stadium. Not this Mets team. I did look at what tickets cost, and like $163 for the top deck to watch this Mets team. I was like, yeah, I'll enjoy watching it at home. So as we look at this, and we're going to talk about the National League first, because that's kind of where we always do. I would, as you look at the bracket, our visual audience, the Brewers, by having the top seed, they have not just that first round bye, they have a really nice part of that bracket. So they're going to face either the Cubs or the Padres, who, we talked about them losing 4 games to the Reds. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Mets, the Cubs, and we've seen some struggles for the Padres. So I think that that's far more attractive than having to face the Dodgers in the next round, and you would face either them or the Phillies in the NLCS. But as we look at that wild card round, seeing enough Dodger games, I don't think that the Reds are very good, but I think that the Reds can very easily score 2 runs off anyone in the Dodger bullpen without them recording an out. As we've watched, Tanner Scott, they gave him a 4-year deal. I mean, this guy, even Ryan Helsley's like, you should go easy on Tanner Scott. He's trying his best. So I want to see what people think of this matchup, this Reds and the Dodgers. It is actually a lot more interesting. ESPN was not counting on that being the matchup that they were going to put, in prime time. They did get Red Sox Yankees. So, let's not cry for ESPN. But let me ask you first, Mr. Brody, as you see this notion of these Reds and this year's Dodger team, who talk about teams that aren't last year's teams, that matchup. What do you like in that matchup, Brody?
Well, I mean, I don't know how the Dodgers are going to beat a powerhouse like the Reds who knocked the Mets off. I mean, so
yeah, fair.
And to Devin's point, I know he likes Terry Francona, but to me, this is 2 games and done. The Dodgers are a juggernaut, and the Reds are a scrappy team that just got lucky and backed into the playoffs. So I don't see this being competitive. I don't see them. I mean, they can score a couple of runs off the bullpen. The Dodgers top 6 hitters. I mean, it's a joke. So I don't see this being competitive at all. And I think it ends in 2 games, especially since the Reds have not been able to line up their rotation for this. They've been struggling up until today. And the Dodgers have known what's coming. And so 3 games all in LA, this is going to be over quickly.
Well, I agree that it'll be over quickly, but I think that the Reds are going to win the 2 games. And I was surprised that the Reds didn't start Hunter Green on short rest today, but they didn't need to because the Mets lost. So they have him for Tuesday. And, so I think that Francona could probably put it together. So I like that we have our first pick, just flat out difference of opinion. What say you, Devin?
I mean, this is the only real case I can make for Cincinnati, frankly, is and against Los Angeles is just that Los Angeles should not have put themselves in the position of a 3-game series where they could get easily randomly bounced by a 6 seed, because that's baseball, and baseball is weird. With the sole exception of that, there's no way the Dodgers are losing this series. This is the Dodgers have a glaring weakness. Yes, it is unfortunately or unfortunately, depending upon your perspective, the easiest glaring weakness to fix in the postseason, right? We know this because all of a sudden you've got a couple of starter level pitchers who are coming out of the bullpen, and maybe now Roki Sasaki is your closer, or Clayton Kershaw is your closer. Well, bad example with Clayton Kershaw.
No,
you know what I mean.
No, but he could certainly. I think the expectation is certainly in this series he would come out of the bullpen. And the couple times they've used Roki Sasaki, I have a friend who's a Dodger fan. I was like, this guy should be your closer. Like now.
Yeah. So things like remember what happened with us with Peterson last year. So if a team's one big glaring weakness going into the postseason is their bullpen, I'm not saying that that's not a problem. I'm just saying it's probably not the problem that it was in the regular season. It's an easier problem to fix, and that's especially true in a short series.
My only devil's advocate that I will say is if the Diamondbacks and Giants are able to beat up on a bullpen, a playoff caliber team might do better. But you're right; these are completely different animals. What do you think, Mr. Weiss? Cincy versus the Dodgers.
Is Hunter Green pitching in any of these 3 games?
He should pitch on Tuesday because they didn't start him today. Today, they would have had to start him on short rest if he had pitched today. So he's lined up for Tuesday.
It's going to be 2-1. Hunter Green will stick the bats up their asses in that 1 game.
Is that going to be on television? I don't think they can show that. Or you mean metaphorically?
No, I mean for real.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
I'm
not
so
my
sure
target.
of this. Why not on pizza? I'm going to go double down. Okay. I'll bet you a Lou Malnati's that the Reds will lose that series.
No, I don't bet carelessly with pizza like you do, which we'll talk
All
about
right.
later.
Hey,
All right. Well,
hey
Yeah.
guys, can I bust in with some breaking news? Andy Martino was reporting that there are several changes coming to the coaching staff.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Chavez is
has to
gone.
go.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a huge surprise.
No, I would
Um,
say
but-
no. Yeah.
I would imagine you're going to keep your first base coach who taught everyone how to steal bases,
Yes.
and you're going to keep Hefner because he's the wonder boy.
No.
I don't know I don't know about Hefner.
No.
Yeah.
Listen, go.
I would like to get a different set of eyes out there. I've had enough of
I'm not
Hefner.
disagreeing. I'm just saying I'm not certain that I think it's an open question. I'm not certain he will be back. I wonder.
He keeps surviving general managers and owners. So
He's the one guy. He's the one
yeah.
holdover. So
listen, if he goes, he goes. The hitting team needs to go because they had him hunting fastballs, then they had him hunting off speed, then they had him I'll tell you who needs to go. Whoever didn't tell the team, don't announce that you're hunting fastballs. Don't announce your batting philosophy that you're sitting on the fastball and you're going to adjust off the fastball. Because once they did that 3 weeks ago, a month ago, they went in the tank. They started getting off-speed pitches like crazy. So whoever didn't tell them to shut up, they need to be fired also. So keep the guy at first base, and then everybody else can go. I'm fine. You talked me into it.
Okay. Well, now I'm not sure who's typing. Is that you? Yeah. Anyway. So all right. I think that I'm the only one who sees the Reds, but don't worry, not going that far. And then for me personally, Cubs, Padres at Wrigley. I do think that we've seen the Cubbies able to put their foot back on the accelerator while they were playing the Cardinals the last few games. So I see that as an easy one for the Cubbies. I forget the order we did last time, but I'll go to Weiss right away of Cubbies versus Padres.
Cubs win.
Cubs win.
Padres have a lot of talent, but under pressure, they wilt.
Okay.
And the playoffs are pressure. They've proved it before. Machado, who knows if he's going to show up. Tatis Jr. sometimes has a little bit of mustard, as they like to say. And the rest of the guys are interchangeable. So good luck to San Diego. Nice ballpark. Fish tacos are delicious, but you're going down.
So, and there's a lot of local craft beer at that ballpark.
Oh,
as
yeah.
Well. Mr. Brody, what say you, Cubbies and Padres?
Well, I would just like to say that we're going to talk about it later, but in our predictions at the beginning of the year, Mr. Weiss didn't even think the Cubs would make the playoffs. So the fact that he's come full circle is very exciting to me. I agree with him.
You want a pizza?
Devin, I think you were gone for that part of the show. Weiss just started giving all of us Lou Malnati's pizzas that would be shipped to us. Yeah, because he also said the Red Sox wouldn't make the playoffs, which it's a wild card, but they still made it. So yeah, there's a number of pizzas that he owes to all of us, including Flobo, who I think I forgot to say at the beginning. He's working tonight. He's very busy over these few days, so we regret not having Flobo with us. But when it comes to Flobo, I forgot that he did have this bit of wisdom.
Before I get out of here, I just want to say I have the Mets winning 90 games this season.
So yeah, he did. So he knew about as much as me, saying that the Brewers looked old. It's all right. We appreciate the outlook there. So you were kind of commenting more on Weiss. What do you think, Brody, in terms of the
I'm in
winner?
agreement. I'm someone that picked the Cubs to win the division, and so I'm still a big Cubs guy in this situation. And with 3 games at home against the inconsistent, underperforming Padres, I'm going Cubs again. But I think this one goes 3 games.
Okay, what do you think, Devin?
This matchup is between 2 teams that I'm always wondering why they aren't better when I see them. I can't believe the Cubs were diving all over the field, catching every single ball. All of their hitters are good. All of their pitchers seem pretty good. Like, I don't understand why they're not awesome. And every time we play San Diego, I feel the same way about San Diego because they always kill us. So these teams frustrate me and baffle me and trick me into thinking that they're good. So the only reason I'm going to pick the Cubs is because they're home, and I have a soft spot for them. The Cubs they really impressed me, even though we won 2 out of 3 from them. I mean, they didn't have much to play for, so it's just hard to take much away from their team under those circumstances. But they were diving all over the place, and they clinched a playoff spot. Like, I thought they were pretty good. Like, I don't think that they're going to make a run, but it wouldn't shock me if that team made a run.
Yeah, no, I could certainly see it. And yes, the defense alone was very eye opening for, that I probably saw 6 Cubs games all year. And the defense was exemplary. So as we move back to the top part of that bracket, it would be, most of you are saying Phillies, Dodgers. I would say Phillies, Reds, but I'm going to pick the Phillies to win at that point. And we'll kind of go reverse. Devin, do you think that Philly without Zach Wheeler would be able to put down the defending champion Los Angeles Dodgers?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they will. I think, I think they lost their real difference maker. I think I really thought that they were the team, quite honestly. I thought that they would be the team to beat the Dodgers. And now I think it's, now I don't think they've quite got enough. And now I think the Dodgers are going to blow past them because the Phillies their lineup was already a little wobbly. Not a great defensive team. They're banged up. Their bullpen, I know what I said, but, they were already getting tapped on some of their starting pitching depth. So that sort of thing doesn't necessarily help their bullpen as much as it might help another team. I don't think they can do it.
Okay. Yeah. I think that I agree that it was a no-brainer if they still had Zach Wheeler. I mean, at that point, even when the Mets, swept them at Citi Field, you're like, that's still the best built team
I felt
in
that
the
way.
playoffs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What about you, Brody? Phillies Dodgers would be your matchup in the NLDS.
I have to agree with Zach Wheeler. I'm leaning Phillies. With Kyle Schwarber, I'm leaning Phillies. But the Dodgers are just the Dodgers. They just have an endless supply of talent. And although the Phillies rotation minus Wheeler looks pretty good, it's still pretty good. I don't think they have the bullpen or the defense. And I think when you put the Dodgers in that stadium, I think the Dodgers lineup is going to hit a hell of a lot of home runs. And I just think they're unstoppable. That's going to be a pattern for me when you come to me, when we're in that little corner of the world. The Dodgers are unstoppable. And so I'm going Dodgers over the Phillies. I think the Phillies can win a game or 2 in that series, but ultimately the Dodgers have too much talent.
What I would say is that Philly is not built for the inevitable start when Aaron Nola goes 1 1/3 innings, and then they have to start piecing it together. I still I'm going to stand by Philly on this, and not just because of people I know who watch this show. I like being the outlier. What about you, Weiss?
Well, the Phillies without Wheeler have no chance. Schwarber could hit 500, and they're going to lose 6-5. Also, I know Trey Turner is coming back, but without full speed Trey Turner, I think he's kind of an ordinary shortstop. I don't see it. I mean, they can hit, but they don't play defense. They got bad fundies, as Keith says, and the Dodgers, like everyone else is saying, they're a juggernaut. And if you're going to defeat a defending champion, you really got to nail that coffin shut. And the Phillies don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then we'll do the reverse order at this point. So Weiss, you would have the Dodgers. I'm sorry. So when it comes to the Brewers versus the Cubs, I'm sorry, we didn't fill out that part of the bracket yet. I'm picking the Brewers, who I think are actually a well-constructed team. I thought they were last year too. I think that they're better this year, despite my prediction after my spring training scouting. Who do you like, the Brew Crew or the Cubbies, Weiss?
I like the Brew Crew. I think bringing Gorman Thomas out of retirement is really going to play in the playoffs.
You're making an inside joke from a text you sent to me. Okay, but I know what you're saying. What is Peralta today?
It won't be a sweep, but and I know those cities have a beef, but yeah, that's a 7-game series, right?
The NLDS is a 5-game series.
That's what I meant.
By the way, for now, I feel like it's inevitable that becomes a 7-game series as well, and then the wild card will become a 5-game series. But anyway,
yeah.
Mr. Brody, Brew Crew Cubbies, you are on mute. I really thought you were being thoughtful and
no, I'm being thoughtful. Sorry, I muted the mic to say something to my dogs. I would say, based on the fact that the Cubs, that PCA has not been hitting well the last month or so of the season. Kyle Tucker is just fresh off the injured list and has not played the field yet. I feel like they're slightly diminished, although they will beat the Padres. I think the Brewers are a fun, scrappy, well put together team with home field advantage. And I'm going to say Brewers. Even if it's 5 games, which it may, I'm going to say the Brewers win this outright.
Also worth noting, the most fun ballpark to visit because they have the best tailgate atmosphere out in the parking lot. And I also love watching Bernie Brewer go down the slide, except for when he's playing my team. But the rest of the year, I enjoy it. And if you know me, you know I'm a big sausage race guy. Devin, the Brew Crew and the Cubs, I think, is what we all feel that NLDS series will be. Who do you see prevailing in it?
I still don't totally understand why the Brewers are as good as they are.
Yeah.
And I get the sense that they're a little banged up. They're missing their closer, the good McGill, and Woodruff is injured. I don't really have a strong grasp on this one. I like that Cubs team, and I guess I'd kind of like to see them advance, but I also I don't know. That's a tough one. Right now, I feel like I'm guessing between theoretical matchups, and I kind of think the winner's coming out of the top of that bracket anyway.
Yeah. I absolutely think so. So, but you know what? Let's keep it interesting. We'll kind of pencil you in with the Cubbies.
Yeah, sure.
We won't firmly drag that logo there, but we'll sketch the C and we'll be ready.
Okay, but Christian, you didn't say who's going to win Reds Phillies, did you?
Who I think is going to win. I said Philly.
Oh, you did. Okay. So.
Yeah. I said it first. Yeah. And so then that brings us to what a few of us think is, so actually you guys think it's going to be Dodgers, Brewers. I think it's going to be Phillies, Brewers. I see the Brewers winning at that point, winning the NLCS. And since Devin has the Cubs, I'll ask you first, Brody. If it comes down to, for you, it would be Dodgers, Brewers.
Yeah. I'm still going Dodgers because Dodgers.
Okay. Weiss, is that like a ditto from you?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Except I thought the Dodgers bringing Gorman Thomas out of retirement was...
You see, kids, that's called a callback. So,
wait a minute. The Dodgers aren't going to bring Gorman Thomas back. You mean the Brewers?
Well, that's what he just
said.
said.
The Dodgers.
He means everybody's bringing Gorman Thomas back. So, Devin, if again a hypothetical, a Cubs Dodgers NLCS would be amazing theater, great ratings for the markets involved. If that were to happen, do you see the Cubbies being able to sneak past Los Angeles?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So the Dodgers are inevitable as far as you guys are concerned. I'm just trying to spice things up.
I mean, I wouldn't say inevitable, right? Just because it's baseball. I feel like baseball, like capital B baseball is like the reason why the Dodgers might not win. Every other reason says that team's awesome, and it's entirely possible that they're only the 3rd seed because they've bored out of their minds because they beat everybody's brains in every year, and their season doesn't start until October anyway. And now they're finally ready to play baseball.
Yeah, it's
also
right.
the Dodgers play in a division with the Padres, the Giants, who sold off at the trade deadline and still kept winning, right? The Diamondbacks, who sold off at the trade deadline and still kept winning. So that's a little bit about, look at the Phillies played a bunch of crap in the NL East. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers.
I'm sorry, but
you
can't sing the praise of the NL West without talking about the Rockies.
What?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like that does poke. Well, I guess they're the Mets in that division. Is that how that works? They're the Braves.
Okay, but in the Rockies' defense, they did not sell off at the trade dedeadline, did they?
They didn't have any.
No. Doesn't matter. They hung tough.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, I do. So we'll, as always, we kind of breeze through the American League. The Detroit Tigers story was fascinating to watch, and it's there before the grace of Houston go the Tigers still being in the playoffs after losing that division lead. That question, who would it have been worse for to miss the playoffs, the Tigers or the Mets? I felt like the Tigers, had they missed, it was like that 2007 Mets team. I don't know that it's about the Guardians being so good that they were able to take them down. I think that they were overperforming, but I don't know what happened to that Tiger team. Like when the Mets played them at the beginning of the month, I was like, wait, this is the Tigers? I really thought that they were better than this. So I don't see the Tigers winning a game in these playoffs. So that's a very easy pick for me. I'm going to actually take it to, and I'll let you all make the double pick. So I would have the Guardians playing the Mariners, who the Mariners, I think, would roll Cleveland in their sleep, possibly, thanks to the big dumper. But I'm throwing a lot of teams around here, Devin. But as you look at the American League, what do you think happened to the Tigers? Could they possibly recover, or are they just lucky that they just missed the fork being stabbed into them and it went right into the Astros, which honestly nobody's upset about, that the Astros missed the playoffs?
Yeah, I think there's a real chance that the Tigers just smush them in 2 games. Just the math of it.
Yeah.
Cleveland is on this miraculous run that is not borne out by the stats. And a correction does seem to be coming, and Detroit similarly is in a slide that does not necessarily seem borne out by all of the stats. That team was not as good as maybe I was expecting when we saw them, but they sure could hit. They seem to have a lot.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And in a 3-game series with Skubal, who's been very good, and I think had that weird moment, kind of lost that game in many ways because he was so rattled from what happened to Fry. I think that this could be just a case where the narrative flips back again, and the Tigers win the battle that matters in a weird way. But Cleveland's okay because they snuck in. I don't know that it matters either case because I'm picking Seattle, whoever wins.
Same.
Seattle is, I kind of feel like Seattle is like the people's team in this year. I feel like a lot of people are hoping Seattle will win for various reasons. I find myself kind of drawn to that as well. Although the bottom of the bracket is much more complicated for me personally where I am. But I'm really into Seattle, and I also think they might have the best team. I mean, it's really lining up for them.
Can we somehow, I don't know, who do we talk to find out that if the Mariners win the World Series, they can have the Supersonics back, or do you think that wouldn't work that way? I think that
that'd be great.
Yeah. All right, good. At least I'm not alone on that. The one thing that I'll say is Detroit and Cleveland in the last 10 days played each other. I want to say 7 times, but it might only be 6. but they are very familiar with each other lately, so it could go either way. I'm still leaning Guardians. But Mr. Brody, as you look at the top of the American League bracket, we're talking Detroit, Cleveland, one of them facing off against Seattle, and where that would go. Again, Mr. Brody, you are pausing for dramatic.
Excuse me.
Based on the fact that Detroit collapsed the way they did, and the fact that they're 2-8 in their last 10 games, gives me no hope. Even though they're a much better team, I think psychologically they're going to be playing not to lose. They're going to be playing in Cleveland, where they're going to get their ears blown out. I think Cleveland wins in a short series rather. And I think Seattle beats Cleveland so badly they have to change their name back to Indians, because it's going to be a massacre. So for me, Seattle, not that kind of massacre, but I believe Seattle moves on.
Well, I thought you felt like they were going to play that series on the neutral site at Wounded Knee. So I really didn't know.
No.
Wounded Knee.
No, I'm talking about a baseball massacre. Nothing to do with their old name.
Okay, boy.
I think Seattle's the clear winner. I think Big Dumper is destined for the World Series, or at least the ALCS. It's the bottom left corner that's going to give me the most trouble in this conversation.
Wait, that's why we're sort of breezing through this one. Weiss, Tigers, Guardians matching up against Seattle. What do you see?
I see the Tigers riding their ship against Cleveland. They've had enough. They're going to bounce back. And then I see the Big Dumper and his teammates taking a big dump on their playoff hopes, because I'm picking Detroit.
Right, exactly. And Devin, I know we spent so much more time talking about the Mets than I thought we would. I will let you kick off the bottom part of the bracket, really all the way through the World Series, because you are a Mets fan, but you reside in Boston, and one of those teams has to win that series, which, by the way, will happen at Yankee Stadium, while the Blue Jays are taking a nap north of the border. So I want to know what you think comes out of the wild card series, who matches up with the Blue Jays, and then who would advance to ultimately lose to Seattle.
I mean, there's no way I can pick the Yankees.
No,
because I'm just not constitutionally capable of it. I don't know if I actually believe that that's what's going to happen, that the Red Sox will beat them, or I'm just incapable of picking it differently. I do think that this Red Sox team is very well built to beat this particular Yankees team in a short series. This particular Yankees team is very well built to lose series because for the same reason they did last year. They're very sloppy. Their pitching is dubious, and their bullpen is even dubiouser. Which is why I think one of these two teams, I hope, I pray, Boston or the Blue Jays, will knock them off. Both of those teams played really good defense, and they're young and frisky, and they pitch really well. And I think that they're well positioned to beat the Yankees. I just need one of them to do it.
So if you had to pick somebody to square off against Seattle, would it be Boston or Toronto?
I think Boston, quite honestly. I think, I mean, this could be wrong within 2 games, but, and it could also be home cooking, but there's real good vibes around this Boston team. They've been playing very well lately. They're young and they're excitable, and they pitch well. And they'll get to have some games at home, which I think will make a big difference if they can get to that point. I don't know who will win that series, but I think Seattle is the team that's coming out of that side of the bracket anyway. But I think it's much closer.
Well, the interesting thing is that the Mariners and Dodgers played this past weekend, and they are a very likely matchup. Do you see that as the World Series, Devin? The Dodgers and Seattle?
I guess so. It's funny. I haven't really thought about who I think is going to make the World Series, but I probably would pick the Dodgers in the National League, and I would probably pick the Mariners
Yeah.
in the American League. So I guess that's where I'm going. Yeah.
And when it comes to winner of that World Series, that seems like a Vegas pick'em. You can make the case, strong cases for both the Mariners or the Dodgers. Because I live in Los Angeles, I would veer towards the Mariners. Would you hazard a guess, or are they just two of the best teams? And baseball being baseball, 7 games could kind of go either way. Or
Nice.
do you? Yeah,
I love the idea of all those Japanese folks in Seattle having to root against Shohei Ohtani. I think that's pretty neat. I think that'll be interesting.
You know, I did not think about that. My sister lives in Seattle, so I should have thought of that. That's pretty great. Yeah, their ballpark up until last year had Din Tai Fung in it. I don't know.
Really?
To root against the Japanese superstar. Oh my
Wow.
God!
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Well, so yeah, we'll.
That'd be an amazing series. What a great series.
Yeah, well, we'll see if come spring training, that's what we're talking about having happen this year. Devin Gordon, the author of So Many Ways to Lose, the amazing true story of the New York Mets, the best, worst team in baseball or in sports. Sorry, it is in baseball, but it is also in sports. So, Devin, we appreciate you staying up late. Staying along with us, as they say. So we really appreciate it. And,
Thank you.
And Mets fans will always enjoy that book. Yeah, exactly. And I'll have to do that before too long myself. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. And we'll talk in the spring. I feel very confident that we'll find the time to do that.
We'll see you in the spring.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. So we'll say goodbye to Devin Gordon. And again, So Many Ways to Lose, the amazing true story of the New York Mets, the best, worst team in sports. We will kind of wind this down momentarily, though, for the three of us, and then we will talk pizzas and we will compare. I know, Brody, you have notes, so I was going to let Gordon go. Devin is his name, his first name. I was going to let Devin go before that. So let's talk about this side of the bracket. I don't want to wish catastrophic events happening, where no team can win a series. Begrudgingly, I would say Boston faces the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays win and lose to Seattle. That's the way I see the American League going. But what about you, Brody?
You know, this is one of those where I just want to snap my fingers and get right to the point where the Mariners win and go to the World Series.
Yeah, sure.
Right. I don't know. I'm going to say the Yankees win again in a short series with home field advantage. If it was a 5-game, I might go Red Sox. So let's say the Yankees move on. I like the Blue Jays in that matchup. Yeah. And then I like the Mariners to beat the Blue Jays. But we've talked about this. I could easily see possibly Boston beating the Yankees, and I could see Boston beating the Blue Jays. What I can't see is any of those three teams beating the Mariners.
Right.
So I think anything can happen down there in the left corner, but I believe the Mariners play the Dodgers. I love the comment about the Japanese audience rooting against all the Japanese players on the Dodgers because it's not just Ohtani, it's half the roster. So
it's fair.
The ratings in Japan for those two teams, I would imagine, is the perfect storm for Japanese viewers. So that's what I'm going with. Mariners come out of this victorious.
Well, and before we pick a winner of that World Series, Weiss, you picked the Red Sox not to make the playoffs. You even tossed a pizza around. And I'll remind you something I probably should have pointed out to Brody. The Yankees do have Anthony Volpe in the infield. So that's a big factor for the Red Sox. It's a big plus for them. But who do you think wins that series, plays the Blue Jays, and then on through to the Mariners? What do you think?
I think the Yankees will slug their way out of that series. I think they will lose to Toronto, as they call it.
Do they?
Then the Tigers, who beat the Mariners, will play Toronto, and I say the Tigers take that too. And the Tigers are going to the World Series.
Okay. You got the Tigers going to the World Series. By the way, Flobo's pick for World Series was Tigers-Phillies. in the preseason,
Wow.
not like right now.
That
Yeah,
could
yeah. So
happen.
it's very possible. Yeah, I have so my World Series is Seattle and the Brewers. I'm keeping things interesting. I'm keeping things different. I got the Brewers winning the World Series. But Brody, you have the Dodgers. Weiss, did you pick a winner of Dodgers Mariners?
Well, it won't be Dodgers Mariners.
Oh, what do you have? You have Tigers Dodgers, right?
Yeah, Dodgers will win.
Okay, Dodgers will win.
Yeah.
And then Brody, Mariners Dodgers. Who do you see winning?
Dodgers in 6 or 7.
Okay.
Only because it's the Dodgers. If anything happens to the Dodgers and they don't get to the World Series, I could see being Mariners Brewers, let's say.
Sure.
And that's a toss up for me. And I still might lean Mariners.
Okay.
But Dodgers, I can't see losing. So I'm going with the Dodgers over the Mariners.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm the only one who has the Brewers winning the World Series. Seattle's a contender, but your official pick, Devin said Seattle. Begrudgingly, I think you're saying that you see it being the Dodgers. So we'll see. That's why they play the games. I just don't want to see the Yankees in the World Series against anybody. That's what it always comes down to. We got that last year, but we didn't get to enjoy it the way that it ended. So, Brody, you have some housekeeping to help us through. I don't think you have a tally of pizzas. It's just suffice to say Weiss owes us all pizza. But
I again, only because Dave is insisting. I'm humble about it, and I feel weird about it. But he did say
you want to bet.
Well, because
the victor goes the reward.
That's fine. So here's what I'll address the pizza in a minute. He did say he bet me a pizza the Cubs would finish in last place. So that's my second pizza. My Red Sox, I said, would win the division, and he said they won't even make the playoffs. That was pizza 1. And pizza 2, I said Cubs would win the division. He said the Cubs won't even make the playoffs. They're going to finish last. He said if they don't finish, he said they'll finish last or I'll get you a pizza. So that's 2 pizzas. Now, there's another pizza I'm not aware of. So let's go with sausage. Go with sausage. They could be from Giordano's if they're less money. I'm not particular. I prefer Giordano's. But if Lou Malnati's, that's classic. That's fine. 2 sausage from Lou's. Wonderful.
And maybe Weiss, you and Flobo will have to go to some Cactus League next year. And there is a Lou Malnati's in Scottsdale. So we would just let you pick up the tab.
That. Then we'll go to the ice cream parlor.
Oh, the Sugar Bowl in Scottsdale.
Right,
yes.
It's not what you think. It's a real ice cream parlor.
Yeah.
It's not just like 3 middle-aged guys going out for ice cream.
It's actual ice cream. It's not that. Flobo is much younger than us. But anyway, Brody.
Would you like a Flobo update, by the way?
Yes, please.
Flobo is now a member of one of my fantasy football leagues. And he started off 0-3, but he won his first game today. So congratulations, Flobo. You're now 1-3. So
congratulations to DJ Flobito, which is literally why he's not here. He's being DJ Flobito right now.
Very nice.
So anything else that we need to know from the notes from last year, or you just did a pizza head count?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but David also said a pizza if the White Sox didn't win the division. Did I remember that correctly?
I don't remember that correctly, to tell you the truth.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It sounds like something he'd say.
Let me change that on my paper here. Okay.
Don't get greedy.
Yeah.
I'm gracious, but I'm not that gracious.
But for these playoffs, there's no new pizza bets, right, Weiss? This is all regular season.
I was going to bet you, but you won't take the action.
What was it that you wanted? What was
Reds
the
bet.
action? Oh yeah, no, I see the Reds. The Reds are going to beat the Dodgers.
Put a pizza on it.
No.
Red sauce for the Reds. Let's go.
I'll put a slice of Dino's on it for that. So
at least bet a cheesesteak, Christian. Be a man.
Well, that would be if it was a Philly bet. I would bet. I'll bet in Culver City, La Rocco's. I'll bet you a slice. All right.
Okay.
All right.
What's that crap they eat in Cincinnati? That chili? What is that chili?
Oh,
they
the
eat in
the delicious Skyline chili that my buddy, our buddy Eric Nagel is convinced that no one actually likes. And I tried to tell him that, like, no, my wife and I really enjoy it. And he just says, no, you're wrong. You don't like it. I'm like, no, believe me, I like it very much. Yeah.
Well, you're the only person I know that's ever liked it that doesn't live in Cincinnati. So congrats.
Fantastic. I love hey, I love a three-way, but I also like spaghetti with
at an ice cream
chili and cheese at an ice cream parlor. All right. Well, it'll be a less fun, less exciting playoffs than last year. But the Mets absolutely did not deserve to be in it. And I'm glad I'm not spending any money to watch them be bad in the playoffs. But hopefully next year they could be great in the playoffs. Brody, what do you want to let people know where they can find you?
You can find me, as always, on social media at David Brody with a Y, or David Brody 12 on TikTok. And, of course, on the Brooklyn Boys podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
I'll have to sidebar with you, and we'll have to talk Marvel Zombies and trying to schedule that, which is not something I'm excited about. But still, it's in the name of the show, the Marvel part, not the zombies part. Weiss, other than at Lou Malnati's in Scottsdale sometime in March, where can people find you?
I don't want people to find me.
All right. Sounds good. So we'll let people know. We'll have a meet and greet at Lou Malnati's. As always, like, subscribe to the Bladtcast, Bladtcast. It is a audio podcast in addition to being here on YouTube. So please find us there. Marvel Movie Talk and the Geekscape Book Club over on Geekscape. Did a couple of panels at LA Comic-Con this weekend. Great time had by all. And, of course, Who Are These Broadcasters? Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. At the very beginning when we started, the famous Mr. Hollywood was letting us know he's so Hollywood. He was at a gala where Tarantino was there, and he can imagine how you guys are feeling after the Mets loss. Like I said, it was inevitable. It had been coming for a long time. The shock would have been them getting in. So, but thank you, Mr. Hollywood. In any case, that is all the time we have for now. We will see you next time on the Bladtcast.